I see in the lower left-hand corner pitches remaining, and I'm realizing that we have a certain amount of pitches allocated per month. How does that work, and what is our mindset to maximize the number of pitches we have, or how should we strategize and approach all of that? I appreciate it.
Yep. So depending on the plan that you subscribe to, you're given a certain allocation of pitches, whether it's 100, 200, 400, so forth and so on, right? And depending on when you came in, some people have lifetime plans that only have 10 pitches. Some people have lifetime plans that are 1,000 pitches a month, right? Depending on which plan you bought, that's your number of pitches on a monthly basis. If you're on a lifetime plan, it usually, well, those all came with what we call rollover pitches, which means that every month those pitches will roll over to the next month, so you don't lose anything, right? So you can accumulate. You don't feel like you lost anything if you had to take a month off or whatever for the year. So that's what that is. We give you more than, um, well, we give you enough, right, for whatever you said your goals were, but there really isn't a allocation or a strategy. It's really with the speaker formula that we gave you, where it's 2 podcasts, 3 associations, 4 conferences, so forth and so on. And if you're using that, you'll end up using 100 or 200 pitches a month. And with follow-ups, that means you would have made 400 to 500 contacts every single month just by following up with the people that you reach out to originally. What we know is that everybody doesn't respond the first time you reach out to them, and everybody doesn't respond the second time you reach out to them. It takes a series of consistent reach outs in order to get on the stages that you want. Remember, these folks are letting you on their stage. So, your follow up is a reflection of how much you really want to be on their stage, right? So just follow up and keep going. This isn't I want to put this in perspective, and this isn't about John. This is just overall. Let's think of another business like McDonald's or Starbucks or Chipotle or Walmart, right? Or Apple. We all know these companies, but why do they still advertise? We already know who they are. Why do they continually advertise their products and services?
To keep it fresh in your mind, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. We don't need to be taught as much as we need to be reminded, right? So a lot of times, we're thinking, well, I got to do this new thing. No, we just got to do the same things. Those companies advertise every day for a reason, because they're in the business for the long run. They're not just doing it for a sprint. They're, you ever seen McDonald's have a Black Friday sale? No, because they gonna be around they're gonna be around Blue Saturday, Red Sunday, and Orange Monday, right? Not just on Black Friday. They're gonna be around every day. So I think a lot of solopreneurs kind of work in sprints. They'll do something for 30 days, see a commercial for something else, switch to that, do that for 30 days, find another piece of software, watch a YouTube video, see somebody else's course, try that for 30 days. And they never get consistency of doing. You can try all that other stuff, but you got to have something that works, that you just do on a rudimentary basis every single day, right? Welcome to McDonald's, may I take your order, please, has been their staple greeting since the 80s, right? Would you like to supersize that? Would you like fries with that? Those are standardized greetings that they've added, right? Now, why is that important? Because we have to standardize our sales processes, right? There should be some part of your business that never stops. Does that make sense? Like, it should never stop. We hop on a daily call every day with our team, and the first thing we talk about is, hey, our trials are up, our trials are down, revenue is up, revenue is down. Not, we're gonna look at this at the end of the month. I look at it every day, right? I'm looking at it every 4 hours, right? But I talk about it with the team every day because those are our key metrics that make this business go. I know if we got less trials, we got something going wrong. We're not driving enough traffic, or the traffic that we're driving, we're not converting that traffic, right? So if you're trying to get on a certain number of stages, there's a certain number of pitches you need to send. John's number is going to be different than Kevin's number. Kevin's number is going to be different than Oraine's number because they have different goals and they have different topics and they're pitching different audiences. But it's Oraine's job to find what's Oraine's number that he needs to pitch, right? We're at a Super Bowl party yesterday and AJ got his computer out sending pictures at my house. I'm like, dude, we're at the damn Super Bowl party. Enjoy the ribs and the chicken. He said, yeah, I enjoy that, but I also enjoy trying to get to where I'm trying to go, right? Because he knows what his number is that he needs to be doing for him and for his clients. So finding out what you have to do on a consistent basis to get to where you go, that's really the key to any business and not getting distracted. Does that make sense? So what's the ideal number of pitches? As many as it takes, right? So some of you all have a 10 pitch plan. You probably need to upgrade to a 300 pitch plan. Some of y'all got a 20 pitch plan. You probably need to upgrade to a 100 pitch plan, right? Depending on where you are, depending on what you are and where your goals are, you probably need to be pitching more, right? But it's up to y'all. They got nothing to do with me. As many as it takes, right? One last thing, Muhammad Ali, someone asked him how many sit-ups does it take to get a six-pack? And he said, I don't start counting until it start hurting. And that's a big deal because I don't know how many it takes to get to it hurting, but then you start counting when it start hurting. That's when you know that that's the growth area. So keep pitching, John. Use them all. Use them all. Right? Any other questions or comments? Sorry for that little speech, but I think it makes sense because a lot of the times we're just not consistently doing the boring stuff. Rhonda, what's up?
Yeah, thank you. I have a follow-up to that. Somewhere I heard that, especially email pitching, I think that's separate from submission, but email pitching really shouldn't happen on Mondays and Fridays. It should happen more on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because people aren't looking at their emails in the same way on Mondays.
Yeah, that's the point of view of a loser.
So just 5 days a week. What about weekends?
AJ was pitching during the Super Bowl yesterday and got a response during the Super Bowl.
An email pitch, not a submission pitch. Okay.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You just got to do the work. There is no magic pickup line.
Agreed.
If I walk over to her with my head turned this way and my arm like this, she going to like me better on a Wednesday. No, just go talk to her. Right?
But I
we try to
intuitively
find these
felt the
magic
same
formulas.
thing.
We're optimizing for losing, guys. We're optimizing for losing.
So you know what I did? I scheduled a bunch of pitches for Tuesday morning. I did that over the weekend. So I have a bunch of them scheduled for Tuesday morning because I felt that way on Mondays when I used to work anyway. I'm retired now, but I had over 200 pitches. The mornings, you just didn't like it. And then we'd be talking. I figured people are going to be talking about the Super Bowl. Let me let that dust settle for one day and then go to Tuesday. But that's just me.
So we have, let me bring this up. I want to show you. I'm glad we brought this up. This is amazing. Y'all be reading my mind because I be thinking this stuff, but I don't be knowing how to get into it. But now I get to get into it, right? So let's bring up a calculator. All right. So we got our calculator, right? How many weeks we got in a year?
52.
52 weeks, right? So we got 52 weeks of 7 days. We're already going to miss 52 times 2 because of the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So you already done lost out of your 365 days, you already done lost another 104. So what you're saying is that I should get rid of Mondays and Fridays too, which means that out of my 365 days, 208 of them, I'm not going to go to work. which represents 56% of the year. I'm a part-time job.
But to Kevin's point, it's not that you're not working, it's just that you're not sending. You're sending on a different day. So,
Okay. So
to your point earlier, if you have a certain amount, a number that you do per week or per month, if you're still making that per week or per month, are you optimizing them when you send them on a certain day? Now, your answer is no, that's fine, but it doesn't change the amount of work you're doing, is what
my thing is, I'm a firm believer that, and this isn't about Rhonda or anyone else, right? This is just me in general. As a sales guy, because I've run sales teams, right? When I was at Northwestern Mutual, I was on a sales team, and I would get penalized because I did more than other people. They would tell me, "Oh, you can't do that because you hired a telemarketer. You're supposed to make the calls yourself." I'm like, it's my business. I can do whatever I want to do. But the losers hated on the winner, right?
Mhm.
Let me bring this. Let me tell you why I say this. Somebody is pitching every day.
That's me. That's Chantel. Chantel in the building. I was pitching
Somebody is
yesterday at
pitching
the Super Bowl when I was getting stuff back.
Yeah, they're gonna pitch every day. Now, some people gonna optimize and say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be doing this." And I found that if you do this, you do that. You know what you tell them people? Cool, I ain't discovered that yet, right? Because if you ask that person how many pitches they send, they're gonna tell you, "Oh, I usually send like 3 or 4 a day." Cool. I'll tell you what I send. I'll show you. Let me see, because this stupid software deletes pitches on a regular basis. So in our agency side, and I haven't seen anything that was, and even this data is more than what the average person. So I can just show here and just say in the last 12 months, right?
Hey,
So
hey Ron, I think
yep,
you're
can you see
sharing
my
the wrong
screen?
screen. I think you're sharing the wrong screen.
1 second. I may be showing the wrong thing. Can you see it now?
Yep, that's perfect.
All right. So when we bought SpeakerHub, we shut down the done for you side of our business, right? And we pitched every day. And from March up until June, when we started winding things down, we sent 74,000 pitches. I know in 2024, from 2023 to 2024, I sent over 500,000 pitches. Just with these 74,000 here, I booked 395 meetings, right? So I hear what people are saying, but they usually don't have the data to back it up. All I'm saying is take your advice from the people that are actually doing the work, right? I've sent over 1 million pitches to people. In 2023, we sent over 500,000. I'm not saying you should listen to me, but I can't tell you a better person to listen to, right? Because they don't have the numbers. They haven't done the work, right? So a lot of people get booked because they're cute. A lot of people get booked because they're attractive. A lot of people get booked because of their connections. So they can talk about how they got booked and they don't even know why they got booked. I booked other people and we send pictures every day. The only reason we don't send on Sundays is because we don't want Google bothering us. But every other day, I'm sending pictures. We going. Because I just got to win. I got to win. And that's the difference. So I know there are a lot of theories out there, but a lot of that is what they call, what kind of data? I can't think of it. It's some type of data where the person is just jumping to a conclusion, but they don't have the data to back it up. So I think if you want to pitch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, high five. Everybody else who wants to pitch the rest of the days, follow me.
Ryan, this is Chantel here. I was pitching during the Super Bowl and I got 2 people from a magazine that talked about they would like to interview me for their magazine. And one of the people, they had replied back maybe like an hour, and then I got an email later on that day. Well, later on that night.
Yeah. So yeah, I
On a
mean,
Sunday.
I'm not surprised. I'm just not surprised, you know. Some of the guys at my house yesterday, they were like, "Man, so what's your schedule like?" I'm like, "I wake up, I go to work." It's like, "But you got like a daily routine?" Yep, I wake up, I go to work. But when do you take days off? I wake up, I go to work. No, I'm a maniac, but I also got so much to lose, right? So it's going to be hard to. Let me show you. I'm going to share something with you. And I'm a sports guy, so I like to share these things. This guy, Anthony Edwards, right? And Anthony Edwards is a basketball player, right? This is him. He averages 27 points, 5 or 6 rebounds, 4 assists a game. He is the new young star in the NBA, right? And Anthony Edwards, Warriors. I want to play this, right? And I want you to hear what he had to say because I think it's really important.
Doesn't he play for the Timberwolves?
Yeah,
Maybe?
he plays for the Timberwolves, but
Okay.
I'm going to show you why he plays for the Timberwolves and not the and not the Warriors, right?
I was going through the drills and he kept stopping them like, "That's all you got. That's all you got." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm going hard as you want me to go. Like, what you want me to do?" I'm sweating crazy. He like, "Man, you got to see Steph and KD and Clay work out." And we went to dinner that night, and they still was continuously telling me like, you didn't work hard enough. Like if we had the #1 pick, we wouldn't take you. And I was just like, damn, that's crazy. So me and my trainer ran home after dinner, and we just talking like, bro, we got to pick it up. I don't know how. I don't know what we got to do. Like, but we got to pick it up. And I think after that, man, it's just, I became a madman in the gym. And like, I try to work till I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I was going through the drills and work
Right.
hard. And
Now, that's really important because he was going to be the #1 player in the draft. But nobody had ever set the expectations of the #1 player in the league. Steph Curry was the MVP 3-4 times, #1 player in the world. Yeah, you're the #1 in college, but you're going to come over here. If we're going to pick you, you're going to play with him. You ain't good enough to play with him. Step your stuff up. A lot of times we don't have that. So we had Seyron. Seyron came in, raised the number of pitches. And then Janika came along, raised the number of pitches that Seyron had set. And then Ann came along and brought her team and said, watch me, hold my beer, right? And raised the number of pitches that everybody was sending because she got dedicated people to just send pitches. You need these people that set standards for you, right? That's all I'm saying. So I harp on that because it becomes an excuse to not do the work. And this isn't about Rhonda. So don't send me any email saying you were saying this. I wasn't talking about her. I'm talking to the person who's watching this 2 weeks from now that thinks that 13 pitches is enough, right? That thinks that they're going to make a 6-figure income from speaking by reaching out to 2 people a day, Tuesday through Wednesday. You're just gonna lose to John. You're definitely gonna lose to Janika and to Bart, right? Because I know they're doing the work, right? Felicia, you want to introduce yourself first? I know this is Felicia. Earlier, she had some salad that she ain't shared with none of us.
Not a bit. Not a bit. The beaming technology has not yet been perfected, so we didn't want to send no wilted lettuce to y'all.
We don't have smell-o-vision?
No, that's not right yet either. I'm Felicia Joyner. I'm a new member of the organization here. Been in the speaking game probably about 2 years now, and have some goals to let go of the the job that's paying the mortgage and go full-time speaking. And one of my strategists found this SpeakerHub, and I liked what was going on here, and trying to build out my portfolio and I spoke to my speaking engagement manager this weekend and got him acclimated to the hub so he can start pitching me here also. So when you guys say pitches, is that the same thing as applying to speak at engagements? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep, that's a really good question. So let me share with you what we're referring to. So inside of SpeakerHub, there's basically two different portions of SpeakerHub. So we build everything around this thing called the speaker flywheel, and one portion is inbound. Inbound means you have your speaker page set up, or your personal website, or your LinkedIn, or whatever, where when people are looking for speakers on your topic, they find you and they reach out to you. You have no control over that outside of setting the traps in the wild and hopes that somebody step in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? On the other side, we have outbound. This is where you're throwing your spear or you're shooting your arrow at the opportunities you want.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of deer out there in the wilderness. You can try to get them to come to your trap, but we found it to be more effective if you could throw your spear at the ones you wanna try to take home, right? So those types of opportunities that we have for you to go after are podcasts, associations, conferences, and media outlets. So we called those pitches because the original company before I bought SpeakerHub was called Pitch Database, which means where you pitched your opportunity. And we didn't change the name. We thought about changing it to Connect or Connect with this person, blah, blah, blah. But we just haven't made that change yet. But so pitch still exists as the primary terminology for pitching your ideas because people know what that's about, right? So we separate these two things, the inbound and the outbound. So the website is kind of like a trap. This is SpeakerHub, where you get a profile and it's either a gold profile or a silver profile. And when someone clicks on it, they can see who you are and what you do. Does that make sense? So this is one of those traps. So if we were to look up Michelle Wilkerson, we did a Google search on her really quickly. You can see there are a few different Michelle Wilkerson. Some of them are her, but we don't know which one. But when I put speaker behind it, look what comes up right at the top. Her SpeakerHub profile, which those are the same three people now, right? So this is what we call setting a trap, or basically the inbound portion of SpeakerHub. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thanks. Appreciate
On,
it.
on the outbound side, let me show you that so that you'll understand what we're talking about. We call that SpeakerHub Pro. And the Pro was for proactive, meaning I'm not waiting on someone to get me to come to me. I'm going to go get them. So this is where you would log in, and you can see Jamar has sent 15 pitches so far today. Doris has sent 14. Nicole has sent 14. John, who's on the call, has sent 2, right? So we monitor these because we want to reward the winners, right? But they can hop in and they can look up podcasts, they can look up associations, media outlets, and conferences. So based on what's in my branding kit here, what you're going to see is that I said that my job was I help retired WNBA players to get booked on podcasts, speaking gigs, and press coverage to share their winning stories, and their stories of winning and losing on and off the court, right? So the AI wrote this bio for me. And then if you notice, look at the conferences that it's recommending to me. Athletic conferences, automatically. I didn't have to search for anything. Does that make sense, Felicia?
It does.
So now if I want to reach out to this organization, I click pitch here, and it's going to write the email for me. I'm not writing anything. Look, no hands. I'm not writing this email, but I just turned on my camera for some reason to make it move. Let me turn that off. And And you should see that that email was already written for me by the software. It took a look at what I do and it compared it to what the conference was about, and it wrote the email for that conference.
Oh, real nice.
Right. So this makes it where someone can spend 15 to 20 minutes a day and just send pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I can hop in for 20 minutes a day and send pictures. During the Super Bowl, I don't need it to even be quiet doing this because I can watch the game, have my ribs in one hand, my nachos, and my. That's how AJ was yesterday. He was like this. I'm like, dude, you wasted cheese on my couch. It's gonna be a problem, right? Right. But that's pretty much what we do, right? That's what the software does. That's what it allows you to do, because what ends up happening is most people keep Googling opportunities. And if everybody's just Googling the same opportunities, wouldn't it make sense if one person did it and then just shared the data with everybody else? It saves everybody else the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're that company that's doing that Googling, gathering that data and sharing it with you all.
Gotcha. So
Does that
now
make
I
sense?
started out on the silver plan and I upgraded to a trial of the gold plan. And will the stuff I put in the silver plan move over to the gold plan?
So silver and gold are still on the inbound side,
Okay, still inbound. Okay.
right? So here, let me show you where Senator Powell, good to see you. We're gonna let you introduce yourself in a moment. I'm Ron Story. I'm the head of product here at SpeakerHub. Welcome to our daily co-working meeting where we help speakers get booked on more stages.
Thank you.
So here, when you come to pricing, we break it down into 3 different types of tools. One is our educational tool where you're on this daily co-working meeting right now, right? On Friday, we debuted our new course platform where we'll have our courses in there, right? Over the weekend, we put together our challenge where someone during the trial, they can get booked. And if they don't get booked, just cancel and then don't pay us, right? So we also have marketing tools, which is the speaker page, the inbound side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have a speaker gold or a speaker silver page. That's the page where people find you.
Okay. But there's another whole part that I hadn't thought,
Yep.
which is the proactive portion of it.
Exactly. So we call
Okay.
those our sales tools because you're selling yourself at that point, right? And that gives you access to podcasts, associations, and conferences.
Gotcha.
Now, the cool thing about it is that by the end of today, we should have up our webinar where if you watch the webinar, we'll give you 30% off of any of these, right? We'll give you a huge discount just from watching the webinar to understand how we do it. And you still get the same trial. You can try it out. If you don't like it, cancel. We will never charge you. If you like it, let your credit card stay in and we'll charge you and you'll join the ranks of everyone else on this call that has one of these plans. Right?
Okay.
So, but this is where people are proactively pitching themselves on stages and getting booked. We do something that not a lot of companies is willing to do. I love to put my money where my mouth is. So if you use our outbound system and you don't get booked, I will just give you your money back. We outline how that works right here. But if you didn't do the work, we're not giving you the refund. Just that simple. Right?
That's reasonable, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yo, don't tell me my stuff didn't work if you didn't use it. If you left the lawnmower in the box, don't get upset that your grass ain't cut. The lawnmower's still in the box. Right? So, but this is what we do. This is what we've built.
Gotcha.
Make sense? Does this make sense, Felicia?
Yes, it does. Thanks for explaining it. I didn't know there were all the parts to it. Yeah.
Yep. So we're doing a better job of trying to build the right tools, because the speaking business is kind of a crooked business in a lot of ways. And let me tell you what I mean by that. There are a lot of people that just sell the dream. Hey, take my $20,000 course and you're going to be the next Les Brown. Okay, I bought your $20,000 course. I learned how to write my speech, but I ain't got no gigs. Oh, well, I ain't tell you was gonna get no gigs. I told you I was gonna help you tell your story. Well, wait a minute, dude. How am I gonna make this $20,000 back? Right? So there's that side where there's the mention of if you just have a good story, you will get booked, but that's not true. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
What we say is, hey, we know the work that needs to be done. If you do the work that we prescribe to you and it doesn't work, that's my fault. If you don't do the work and it doesn't work, that's your fault. Right? So we bring the accountability to that part of the business to make sure that if you because we've booked so many stages, we can just give you the recipe. Does that make sense? So you hear Bart sometimes, you'll hear Arain or Chantel when she talked about what happened over the weekend, or AJ, because they're doing the work. Right? We didn't teach them how to write no speech. That ain't what we do. we don't do that. We say, you want to get booked? Here, do this. Make sense?
Yes, thanks.
Yep. Senator Powell, you want to introduce yourself? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Story. I am, of course, Bobby Powell Jr., a current county commissioner here in Palm Beach County. Actually, got this information from Mrs. Ann McNeil. She gave me a rave review, indicated that I need to jump on this Zoom and check out what you're doing. I am a member of the Florida Speakers Association down here in South Florida. Excited to be honing my speaking business craft, and it's my aim, of course, to teach people how to go from promise to progress into prosper. And that's just teaching people how to be resilient. And I'm really interested in learning more about the business of speaking and how to make the business work. Thank you.
No, that makes sense. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a big deal. I think, again, a lot of us have messages that can move people, but we got to get that message in front of people in order to move them, right? And part of that is doing all of the boring work before we get on the stage. We're excited about getting on stage. You know, it's the, got to email these people to get this opportunity. I got to sell myself, right? Or in your case, Mr. Powell, it's, I got a campaign, right? I got a campaign for this stage that I want to be on. That's all that pitching is. It's just you doing an email campaign, right? That's all that it is. You're just campaigning for opportunities, whether it's a podcast appearance, whether it's a local association to go and build goodwill, you know, and get some constituents out of the audience, or whether it's a more national thing if you're going after a national opportunity, right? So AJ has worked with some politicians, I think mayors, senators, things of that sort. So he has a lot of experience in doing some pitching for people in your position. So you're in the right place. If your goal is to get on more stages, welcome home, because we got you, you know. But
Thank you.
yeah, it just requires the basics of the work. It's, you know, it's no different than if I said, hey, I want to be the mayor of whatever city, or I want to run for senator, but I don't want to do any campaigns. I don't want to do any speeches. You're like, dude, you ain't gonna never be mayor. You just forget it, you know? So
Absolutely.
that's what we show you here. We give you the exact, you know, it's like if you had to follow whoever your favorite politician was, Barack Obama or whomever, if he said, this is how you win this election, you probably should listen to him, right? If you're like, yeah, he's already done it, so I should probably pay attention to it. Even if I don't agree with everything, I should probably do the basics. We'll give you those fundamentals and those basics, right?
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So any other questions? We're 40 minutes in. Anything you all want to talk about? I think we've covered the value of persistently pitching, regardless of the day of the week. You know, we had people that was getting booked yesterday during the Super Bowl, men and women. So AJ did it and Chantel, right? So, you know, the pitches, they're not biased. The work ain't biased. The work is the work, you know? Anything else? Leroy, what did you do during the Super Bowl? Since you're in Europe, ain't no Super Bowl over there. Rhonda, I'll get right back to you. I just want to see what Leroy was doing because I don't know if they watched the Super Bowl in London. Or he may not be at his computer right now. But go ahead, Rhonda.
Yeah, you have mentioned that there's only 3 stories that people tell, something like that. You're either trying to, I'm not going to paraphrase you. Can you go back into that and revisit that for me real quick?
So can you, I'm going to show you how you can do it, right? I think this is a easier. So share your screen with me. Can you open up your SpeakerHub account?
Yes, hold on.
Okay.
I have so many tabs open. Hold on a
No,
second.
that's perfectly fine. We'll
My
be patient.
15-year-old gives me a real hard time. I was actually in the middle of a follow-up. So let me
That's
see if
dope. That's incredible.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me get my screen open. Hold on, please.
Yep, take your time. Because I want to show everyone else who may not be familiar with how we do this, right? So
Okay.
over on your left, there's the branding kit. Do you see that?
Yes.
And in your branding kit, click on My Brand. In your branding kit, this is where all of your information about what you do is. So it has your bio, who you help, so forth and so on, right?
Yeah.
So if you scroll back up to the top, there are all your topics, and go ahead and go back up to the top. Actually,
Top.
the button at the
Right
top
here.
says
Yeah.
back to branding kit. No, all the way at the top. It's the first button all the way. Yep, back to branding kit. Now scroll down to frameworks and click there, right? So in the frameworks, we give you those topics in under the signature talk,
I see.
right? So we already applied those 3 talks there. Sometimes we may even give you 4, but it's how to build a skill, how to be a better leader, and how to grow a business.
Oh shit. Okay.
No, just click show. No, you're in the right place. Just click. Yeah, you can hide them so that
I hit it and it went away. Okay, got you. Got you.
right.
Okay.
But so click hide again. I want to show you how to do that. Now click show.
Got you.
So
Follow.
it just toggles in and out.
Okay.
Right. But as you scroll down, you'll see there's the leading one. Go down a little bit, and then there's the skill building, and then there should be one on how to grow a business. Right.
Authentic growth.
Yep.
That one. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I had not checked this out yet. This is great.
Yep. So
Okay.
now, can you make your screen a little wider?
I can.
It looks like the window isn't all the way wide.
How's
Okay.
that?
So over on the right, you see it has, look at the frameworks, and it says select the framework.
Yes.
Now you can pick a different one. So
Okay.
let's go to your master framework and hit generate. So you haven't generated this one yet. So it's going to generate that framework for you. And it's going to give you an acronym or something that you can use in each of your talks that represents what you talk about. So this one is empower. Right? So this could be the steps that people use to accomplish whatever your audience wants to accomplish. And that way they can remember, oh, I'm using the empower framework. And you tell them E is for engage, M is for motivate, P is for plan, so forth and so on. Right? So we built this because we know that speakers struggle with how do I apply the things that I know to this particular audience.
Yes.
Right? So you have several other frameworks on the right also in that drop down.
Yeah. In over here. Yeah.
Yep. And you can pick a different one. Maybe you don't know what types of products you should be selling. Click on product suggestions and generate. All right. And if you scroll up, yep, right there. Keep going. Yep, keep going up. There you go. And it's going to tell you, here's the normal issue that people in your audience deals with. Here's how you can help them. You can create an ebook. You can make a course. You can make an audio series like a podcast, or you can make a downloadable vision board to help them be clear on their goals.
Okay. And this is great, Ron. And then, okay. So here's my question. If I needed to be more specific to me and what I really talk about, where can I input that information so the AI can pick up on that?
Yep. So here's what so a couple of things you can do. And I want to kind of set the stage a bit. If you scroll back up to the top and go back to branding kit and go to my brand, you want to make sure that when you scroll down and it says, how do I help? Keep going. Right there. How do you help? You want to make sure that that is as detailed as possible.
Very good. Very
Because a
good.
lot of times we leave it very, very generic. I help speakers. Well, what you help them do?
Yeah. Very good.
Right. So the more detailed you can be, the more insight the AI has in order to help you. AI is just the shortcake. You still got to put the strawberries and the whipped cream
Ingredients.
and the
Real talk.
sprinkles on it
Real
to
talk.
make it taste good.
Yeah. Understood.
Is this making sense?
Perfect sense.
Yep. So that's what frameworks. That's the section we call frameworks. It allows you to eliminate having to go over to Chat GPT and figure out how to prompt it. We've already tested all the prompts that'll help you develop products, develop your frameworks. Even let's go back up. I want to show you one that I really love because I'm an action guy. I need to, if you click back to branding and you go back down to frameworks, and then click on the framework on the right, and then take action guide, right? Like when I was coming up, they used to say, man, they're about that action, right? Meaning that dude would fight. Right? So this is kind of like, the part where it says, okay, here's some of the things you can do. And you may need to edit this because it gives you like, hey, here are the things that would be helpful. Actually, on this one, click regenerate with AI because I don't like the results that it gave you.
Rewrite with AI?
Yep, click there. Yep. And it's going to ask you to use a pitch. I'll give it back to you. So now it's going to regenerate, hopefully, a better action. Oh, this is the call to action. Okay, so this is the wrong one. It's not the one I wanted. But this call to action is the one that you would use at the end of a podcast.
Okay.
Right. So, they always say, so Rhonda, what's one last thought you want to leave people with? Well, the one last thought I would love to leave people with is, you really want to start your day with a positive mindset. Every morning, spend a few moments thinking about what you really want to achieve, set small, reachable goals for yourself, and celebrate when you reach them. Remember, it's okay to ask for help when you need them. Stay confident and keep trying. Yeah. Right. That's how you can close out the meeting. The podcast, the speech. Right. It's a moment of encouragement, right? The last thing you want to do is to take people into this valley of despair and you don't bring them out. Or you take them in there, you told them what to do at the beginning, but they don't remember because now they down here at the bottom. Mm-hmm. But this little thing is kind of a summary of what they should be walking away with when they hear you talk.
That's great.
Does that make sense? So select frameworks again, and there should be another one today. There should be one. Scroll down on the page automatically on the regular page. Product suggestions, master framework. Keep going. See if there's one under master framework. Signature talk. Nope. Okay, it must be the other one. Go to the one that says select frameworks again, and go to engage your audience, and hit generate. And let's see what comes up here. There you go. This is the action steps. You see that?
Yeah.
So it gives them the action steps that they should take, right? So this is really important because a lot of times we don't know. Like, I know I help people to do this, but I need to write all that stuff down. Well, okay, here's the shortcake. Click edit it, make it yours. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you see what I mean? You may not like the 2 words, listen and learn. You might want yours just to be listen, explore, act, persist, right? So you can go and edit it, but we gave you something to work with.
Yeah.
Right? And you try it out. I try stuff on this call all the time. And then it turns into frameworks that we develop and Maria makes look good. And, Ange and everybody, they'll give me feedback on, I ain't like what you said. That was kind of offensive, or it could be kind of abrasive. Soften it up. What's another word you could use? Those types of things. That's how you exercise those muscles.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. This is really helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, these are the things that most people, they just don't know that they're important. They use them, but they think everybody already understands them. Does that make sense? It's like, oh, well, yeah, you ain't got that. You're like, no, I don't have that. Yeah, okay. How do I get mine? I don't know. Well, I mean, dude, you just got to come up with something. Okay, right, cool. I'll tell you the worst thing I ever did. When I lived in the Dominican Republic, I decided I was going to take a Spanish class, and it was called Spanish for Tourists. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I enrolled at the university. I paid for that class. And I get to the class and the dude didn't speak English. I'm like, how you gonna teach me Spanish when you don't know my questions in English? I can't ask you questions in Spanish. He was like, but senor, senor. I'm like, no, senor, me. Like, I don't know what you're saying, and you can't tell me what you're saying. So this class is a waste of money. That's how it is a lot of times with people that are already charismatic. They don't know why they're charismatic. They can't tell you how to become charismatic. Does that make sense? So you need a charisma coach that understands how to do that. Just because I have charisma doesn't mean I know how to teach you how to be charismatic. Just because I am a speaker, it doesn't mean I know how to teach you how to get booked. Because a lot of times I don't know how I got booked. Right? So we want to give repeatable formulas that should work for anybody, regardless of age, sex, gender, race, creed, religion. They want to get on certain stages that accept people like them. They should be able to follow the same formula to reach out to those people that are looking for people like them. Does that make sense?
And I don't mean to, I don't mean to be dominating. I do have one quick question because I just noticed it. My follow-ups don't seem to pull, my follow-ups do not seem to pull from my pitch count, which is great. At least my first follow-up, but I just did a second follow-up and it looks like it pulled from my pitch count. Is that the way it works? Does that make sense?
No, follow-up should never take any pitches. The reason why you have one less pitch is because I used one of them for that framework.
Oh.
Right? You remember I did the regenerate with AI and I said, I'll give you the pitch back?
Oh, yeah, you did say that and I did not know what you were referring to. Okay, very good. So so when I regenerate those frameworks, those are pulling from my pitches.
No, if you regenerate, but we warn you, we say, hey, this is going to cost a pitch.
Oh yeah, that's all good. I just want to know going forward.
Yep, so exactly. But if you go in and you just click edit, it costs you nothing.
Very good.
Does that make sense?
Yes, makes perfect sense. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So if you hit refresh on your page, and that number 7 should have changed.
It's just going slow. Oh, yes, it did. Thank you. It
Perfect.
changed. Gotcha.
Right? So so you can edit the frameworks as much as you want. Remember, they're never going to be perfect.
Okay,
right?
yes.
But you have to perfect them, and you'll go in and edit those. When I first met Kevin didn't have his map framework. That's within the last 3 months, as he's modified his topic, modified his audience, and worked on different things. Right? We know that that's a key differentiator. Felicia, you're muted. We can't hear you.
As I'm looking at the pro part, about to sign up for it, do I have to do something special so I can have my team get access to it too? Do I have to give them my user ID and password? How does that work?
Nope, that's a great question. So here, basically, once the trial is over, you'll get team access.
Gotcha.
Where your team members can come in, they can log into your account, or if you give them admin access, they can log into your account and their account, right? So we have several people with team members on here. John just had a new team member that we added over the weekend. Bart had a new team member he hired about 2 weeks ago. And McNeil has several of her team members in the room now pitching for her, right? So you see someone is on Rhonda's team. Oh, that's Rhonda's team member. So, I think I can't remember her name. I met her the other day also. Is it Melissa? What's her name, Rhonda?
It's Mel.
Mel. Okay,
Mel.
I knew it was Mel and Melissa's close.
Right.
I was a little longer.
Very close.
So yeah, so a lot of people have team members that go in and pitch for them, which is great. When we first started, everybody was pitching for themselves. So it's good to see the growth in opportunities where we call that a secondary investment, which means that if you invest in a tool and then you're willing to make the next level of investment, the tool must be working, right? Ain't nobody going to hire a staff person to use something that don't work,
Yeah, work. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mhm. Okay,
So
good.
a lot of our members have hired staff people since they've been with us, which is incredible. You know.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? We got 5 minutes left in regular time and regulation before we go into overtime. Overtime today can go for about. My next meeting isn't until 1:30, so we can go into overtime for a little bit to talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Senator Powell, if you got any questions, anyone else? Cardis and I had a great meeting on Friday talking about, the power of using your personal brand instead of a business brand because that business changes. How many of y'all started a business before this one? Right? Y'all still use that same business name? How many of y'all changed y'all name after the business failed? Nobody. That's why you got to build it with your personal brand. Because even after that business change, you still want people to follow your leadership, right? So we're a big proponent of you owning your domain name, right? Whether it's cardisbest.com or, Ann McNeil, I know she already has it, RhondaRouse.com, JohnDiggs.com, BartWomack.com. I'm a firm believer in owning that .com domain name. It's the best $12 you'll ever invest in it. Best $12 you'll ever invest in yourself, because people will find you instead of someone else. Questions and anything
Hey,
in the
Ron,
chat? Yep. Go ahead, Kevin.
I came on when it was called PitchDB, and I'm having problems trying to get to SpeakerHub. Because
It's the
I
same.
can't.
It's all the same. The
It's
only
all the
difference,
same.
yours just blue.
Okay.
Yours just blue. It's all the same functionality. We just put a different logo on it. You have all the permissions. So
Okay.
I run 3 different companies, right? That are based off of the same system. Let me see if I can bring this up here. All right. So we have SpeakerHub, which is the kind of navy blue and orange version. We have PitchDB, which is blue and black, right? And then we have PR Pitches, which is purple and gray, right?
So
3
you're saying
different.
I have the exact same features then?
You have
And
you have a master account. One of the
okay, so
things that
don't worry about it.
don't worry about it. AJ is still using his PitchDB account too. AJ was one
Oh,
of our first users back from April of 2020 that bought the biggest lifetime account we had at the time. That was when I was stupid enough to offer unlimited. So AJ got an unlimited pitches account for $1,000 or something, during
AJ
the
is my
pandemic,
hero.
and but he still uses his regular PitchDB account. And yeah, so it's still the same thing. We keep our commitments. If you ever work with me, and I promised you was with me for life, you stuck with me for life. You're here. You can stop logging on, but we ain't gonna never delete your account. Make sense?
There's only one other thing, Kevin. You have a Go speaker page. Like the speaker page is the only thing kind of on the SpeakerHub side that you have access to that's different than his people.
Yeah. So Kevin, if you go to this page here, because you are a lifetime member that has been with us for 3 years or so, and if you go to pricing and you click on marketing tools, click here on the speaker page. You see that? Sign up for free. If you already have one, send me the link for that or send me your email address you're using for it. And that includes a gold speaker page for life.
So pricing, then marketing tools, and then what else?
Right
Or
here.
is that it?
Get started for free.
Get started for free. Okay.
Yep. And we'll upgrade you on this side. Make sense? So
Thank you.
Janika, Bart, everybody on here, it's a bunch of folks, and with lifetime accounts, y'all are with us forever. You know, everything we upgrade, you get it. Just like Kevin. You know. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
So can you talk a little bit more about the getting the bio and stuff ready so that it kind of like does the pitch? Like I guess like I'm trying to think about the right question to ask, because if you ask the right question in, you get the right answer out. So so when you're doing your branding kit and you're going to start to do pitches, can you explain of how do you do like quick pitches and how to edit them a little bit better so you get effective outputs, I guess?
Yeah. So share your screen.
Uh Come back to me. I'll switch
Okay.
computers.
So the best way to get the most output, the most responses, is to do more, right? It's more, better, new. Let me tell you the framework again. More, better, new. The best example of this is when I first started as a financial advisor, I heard about direct mail. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go to Kinko's. I don't know if Kinko's still exists, but I'm gonna go to Kinko's and I'm gonna run me some black and white copies of this letter. And then I'm gonna sign it with my ink pen and I'm gonna put it in the envelope and I'm gonna put it in this 24-cent stamp. And this is in 2000, before stamps. I don't know how much stamps cost now, but at the time it was 24 cents. And you lick them, you put them in there. I said, man, I'm gonna mail out 300 of these, you know, had my little $100 budget. And I was like, yeah, this is about to be great. It was probably a $200 budget at the time. And I sent out those 300 letters. Nobody responded. So you know what was anchored in the back of my mind? Direct mail don't work. And I'm like, man, okay. Direct mail don't work. I ain't never doing that. So if anybody ever asks me something about direct mail, you know what I'm gonna tell them? Man, direct mail don't work. So then I met my buddy John, and John is like my brother, like literally like my brother. His name's John Cothran, really smart financial advisor. And we were at this. He was like, "Man, come on out to Vegas with me. I want to introduce you to some guys." And I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna go out there." And he introduced me to all of these financial advisors. And I'm like, "Okay, I know this business. What do you mean? Like, I understand how this stuff works." And basically, what John did was introduce me to a new reality. And I'm going to share with you that new reality that John introduced me to. And I said, "So, John, what is the like? How y'all making this work, man? What y'all doing to get y'all meetings?" And they was like, "Oh, we do direct mail." I'm like, "Man, y'all lying. Direct mail don't work." It was like, "Nah, dude, this is what we do. We do direct mail." And I'm like, these dudes are lying. There's no way they're doing direct mail, because I tried direct mail and I know direct mail don't work. And they challenged me. They said, "Well, Ron, what was you doing?" I said, "Well, man, when I was at Northwestern Mutual, I sent out a bunch of emails. I sent out a bunch of uh, direct mail. So I know that don't work." And they said, "How many you do?" I said, "Well, I sent like 300 of them. Man, didn't nobody respond to me." And they just started dying laughing. We're at in this hotel bar area. They just die laughing. And I'm like, "What?" And then they showed me this. This is an actual invoice. Let me make sure nothing personal is on here. Right? Yeah, there's nothing personal on here, right? And John showed me this. John said, "Well, for my October seminar, I sent 10,000." I said, "Shit, what?" He said, "Yeah, I sent 10,000 of them." Right? So he had to print 10,000, then he had to mail 10,000, right? And I said, "Well, what are your expectations on this 10,000?" He said, "Oh, 100 people gonna come to the event." So for every 100 he sent, he got one response, right? For every 100 he sent, he got one person to come. And then he had to buy them all dinner at Ruth's Chris. So he was inviting them to dinner at Ruth's Chris. So he had to send 10,000 free coupons to Ruth's Chris to get 100 of them to show up. So it wasn't that that direct mail didn't work. It was that I wasn't doing enough direct mail to make it work. Does that make sense? So I've learned that volume, you can win by brute force just by increasing the volume, right? And I have an interview I did with a great speaker coach by the name of Odell Bazell. And Odell taught cold pitching. And someone introduced me to him and they said, well, you should meet Ron because Ron has a really good way to do this. And I have a video of Odell saying, Ron introduced me to volume, right? Because Odell was just sending a few. And I was like, no, just send like 3,000 a month. He was like, what? I'm like, I got you. He was like, where am I get 3,000 opportunities from? I'm like, well, I got those. So the volume is what wins. When you see people doing 50 to 60 gigs, they're just out pitching everybody else. They're out applying. The same way that I was sending 300 lick of myself letters, he got a system, a company they got a machine that's doing 10,000. And my tongue lips would have been dry and chapped if I had to lick all them daggone letters. And not only that, that was the first part of the funnel. He had to buy him dinner at Ruth's Chris. And then he had to get him to come to the office. And then he had to sell them. So he had 4 contacts with them before they even bought something from him. In the same way, you got to send the email, you got to follow up. Sometimes you got to complete the application, and then you meet with the person. You got to find out what's your process. Is that fair, guys?
Yep, that's fair.
Cardis.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
Share your screen. And then, Ange, what's your question? Okay, usually when you do this, you be about to ask something. So, right? So that section there, you can edit that however you would like. Does that make sense?
Yep. I edited.
Right. Now, here's the cool thing. Go down. Look at what you put. Look what you put in there. How do you help?
That's vague. Yeah.
Exactly. So garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
I help this group to do this thing in this way.
Yep.
Make sense?
I don't think I got down this for. Yeah, I don't think
this is what you put in.
But
this is what you must have put in the wrong thing in the onboarding because this is filled out in the onboarding when you first signed up.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Make sense?
Yep, makes sense.
So that's why your bio is kind of goofy.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, what it's going to do is say, well, how do you help? Well, I help people to get booked on larger stages. They got you looking like a booking agent.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't what you do, though.
Right.
You help leaders to do something.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to take a couple of seconds because in my conversation with Cardis, I learned something the other day, and I want him to talk about this for a second. So Cardis does lunch and learns. Can you walk people through what you're doing regarding that? Because I thought that was dope. We didn't get to go into it because we were kind of at the end of the call when it came up. But can you talk to people about what you're doing with your in-person lunch and learns that you do?
Oh, I'm sorry, it broke up. The internet said it was unstable.
The lunch and learn things that you're doing. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, so basically I booked my own stage. And what I did was I formulated a series of lunch and learns that we go over different topics that people can come in during their lunch hour and kind of like learn about either leadership, and all the sessions kind of build off each other. So like I'm recording it, I'm able to put those recordings in cuts and able to use that footage and also connect with my internet presence on my social media accounts, just from doing lives and all those different things. So before I got SpeakerHub, I kind of formulated this idea to kind of like start to be engaged and grow a following early on, and I take all those email addresses from like Eventbrite or whatever and like collect those. So anytime I'm doing something else in the community or whatever, I know this is directly in my community and they are willing to learn about the certain things. That way I got my age gap, like my product for my age gap and all those other things, and I can directly send them information about upcoming events and media materials. So
Yeah. So instead of waiting on a stage, he created his own event. And then he used Eventbrite to generate inbound leads to that event, because Eventbrite already have people that are looking for leadership talks or things like that in his city. And those people end up registering for his event. And then, they have, is it virtual or live?
both.
Okay. So he's doing them both online and in person,
Mhm.
right? So that's another innovative way that, look, if nobody's booking you on the stage and you want to get some video, go invest $200 in one of them little pull out things. Sean Fair is a master of this. If you haven't heard his talk, check out Sean Fair's talk at the Pro Speaker Summit. And let's see, startup banner, retractable, right? So these little startup banners that at least that's what I call it, where you can, it would weigh about 30 pounds. You can get one of these made for like $100 with your logo and face on it and stuff like that. Sean Fair, you go to any of his events, he got 30 of these lined up with his face on it and different pictures. And I'm like, dude, this is dope. Like, I wish I could show it to you. Let me see. He may have them on his SpeakerHub page, but he does a great job of, let me see if I can come here in speakers and find Sean. He does a great job of having those little pull-ups. So Carter's, go get one of those. So then when people show up, now they can take pictures next to it. You can take pictures with them. Gives you a lot more
Social
marketing, right?
Right. And the other thing I did was I had it at the library. So like as people were coming in the library and like before I start the presentation, it has a QR code. So people that didn't even register on Eventbrite, they scan the QR code and I still get their email addresses.
Yep.
And then like people just strolling in the library, it's constant foot traffic. They just like, hey, come in here, learn about this, like that type of deal. So
No, it's
and it
pretty
was
dope.
free. Like,
Yeah. But that's cool, man. I mean, look, speakers speak. What you did is no different than someone going and I'm gonna go shoot some hoops at the park. I'm gonna go to a pickup game, but I'm gonna arrange it. I'm gonna invite my friends to come to the game. We're gonna go hoop at Lifetime Fitness today at 3:00. Right? You bring your 4 guys and you ready to run. You gotta run, right? If you look over here in the right corner, guys, you see what Sean has? One of those pull-up startup things. He got his photo on it, got his thing, entrepreneurial something, international best speaker or something. But he keeps those things everywhere. He probably got 1,000 of them on here. But his photos, look, he got somebody else had one. Geneva Williams had one in the background. Like that little $200 investment. Here's another one. Fair. I mean, you think I'm kidding? He got 1 million of these things. This at a movie theater. He done set this joint up at a movie theater like it's Mission Impossible, right?
I just want to add that they're very inexpensive also, because I got one made, and because they didn't get it done when I asked them to have it done, they gave it to me for free. The
Cool.
printing companies will do it. Yeah, they're pretty cheap.
Yeah, they're like $200. But you can see we've seen 5 different ones with Sean so far. We saw that black and gold one. We see this red one over here. We see this other one with ABB, whatever. I mean, this dude has mastered. There's another one, right? I mean, he has mastered. I'm gonna get one of these daggone signs made, right? Here's some other ones. There he is again with the blue one, with the suit he got on that day, right? Right? Here's 2 more, 3 more we ain't never seen before. Sean probably got a whole garage full of these daggone signs. When I went to his event, he had them everywhere. So you knew it was his event. It was like, you go to the United Nations and they got them daggone flags from every country. He had a flag for every event he went to. So basically, whenever he goes to a conference, I guess he just prints up a new one for that particular conference. Right? And it ends up just being it when he does his own events, he got them everywhere. So you're like, who is this? You know what? On all these daggone flags. Who's this dude? You know? And there he is. So that's a great way, Cardis. I think it's a great investment so that people know. They'll remember. Even if they don't come in the room, they see this young professional male talking about leadership. And if they happen to see you again, they'll remember. Does that make sense? So I thought that lunch and learn thing was a great takeaway from our conversation the other day, because you don't have to wait for someone to put you on stage. Create your own stage, right? Now, one of the things that Cardis and I talked about that he was missing was he didn't have a product to sell at that point. But he still did the work, but now he's developing a product that he can present back to those folks or maybe offer to them at the next lunch and learns. But he didn't wait until he had all of that to start getting ready. Michelle, what's up? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I just had a quick question in regards to the speaker QR codes. With those, can we collect email addresses and phone numbers with the testimonials and stuff, or is it just, it is what it is?
I think on there it asks for email address. I don't know if it asks for phone number.
Where do we go to find that? Because
so go ahead and share your screen with me.
Okay. Make sure I have the right one. Okay.
All right. So would you go to leads over on the left?
Leads.
On the left corner?
I'm not seeing it.
In the menu on the left, where next to right above mailbox, you know where your mailbox is?
Okay, yeah.
And then click on speaker QR.
Oh.
And then those are all your leads, and you can click on them or filter them by what event it was.
Oh, perfect.
So click on filters at the top.
Filters.
And it should be able to it won't show it there. No, those are the ones you all uploaded. But yeah, so they're right there. We probably, Ange, can you have them to, we need a QR lead, a QR filter. Because we're redoing all the filters this week. We need a filter based on which QR code they came from. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay, perfect.
But yeah, so like click on Hillary Bilbrey. And we have her star, whatever. Right? And then, you can follow up with her and reach out. Does that make sense?
Okay, so we don't exactly see their email addresses. It just
Yeah, we'll let you download them, but we want it to work just like you were pitching anything else.
Okay.
Does that make
Got
sense?
it. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we wanted it to just work seamlessly, just like you were pitching a podcast. Like, hey, let's just follow up with Hillary or whomever, and or Taylor, and just reach back out to them. Make sense?
Okay. Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is super duper 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 great question. Ann is using that QR thing, ain't she? That thing is, she got her QR popping. She got all types of events in there. I'm like, look at old Ann. That's pretty cool. Any other questions? Senator Powell, has this been helpful for you today? I know you've been on with us for the first time. We want to make sure you feel welcome, and that we're helping you and providing you with some insight on how we do what we do. All right, you may have stepped away. Okay, he's still there.
Yeah, I stepped away. I had a meeting I had to jump into.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that we were being helpful to you. Good to see you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yep. Any other questions, guys? I got about 5 more minutes. B. Jensen, good to see you again. It's always a good sign when someone shows up more than one time. So I think we won her over, guys. We got her now. She's stuck with us. She joined our cult. No, I'm just kidding. This isn't a cult.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for your patience.
No, this is great, man. So any other questions before we head off? So let's kind of lead with a couple of simple things. It's kind of a refresh. Number one, pitch every day, right? There's no rules on when you should pitch or when you shouldn't pitch. Pitch. That's the first rule. Pitch. The more you pitch, the better off you are, right? The second thing is, in those pitches, there is no perfect pitch. right? So there's no pickup line that's going to get the girls. You just gotta send the pitches and win by volume. The third thing is work on your frameworks. Go in and put in the best information you can so that the AI can generate the right frameworks for you, because those frameworks are going to be kind of the cornerstone of your talks and what you do, and help you, at least help you to generate some ideas so that you can stand out compared to everyone else, right? One of the things that I'm exploring is how do we include, because I don't want to get the pitch where the pitch is becoming too bogged down with not focusing on the meeting, but I would love to, we're probably going to explore some ways on how do we include some of the information from the framework in the pitch to kind of make you stand out a little bit differently than everyone else, right? But yeah, this is where we are, guys. I mean, it's a huge opportunity. We're working on the variables, where you'll be able to insert certain variables in your pitch. So I think that that's going to be great. Yeah, a lot of cool things coming. Any questions for me before we head up? All right. Well, I'll see you all tomorrow. If you are not a SpeakerHub Pro user, go ahead and sign up for a trial of SpeakerHub Pro. If you have a SpeakerHub Pro account, but you don't have your speaker profile, go ahead and get your free speaker profile. And I'll see you all tomorrow.